הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Good morning and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Congregation Sherry Zedek, the beautiful prairies of Manitoba, Canada. It's a great honor to be here, invited to your home to help you daven this Shabbat morning. And I'm not alone here at the building. In fact, somebody has to be playing the piano because I'm here singing. So who is there? Oh, Rabbi Leibel is back.
Thanks, Rabbi.
Welcome.
Good to be back.
Welcome. And Mazal Tov, or no Mazal Tov. Sorry, I watched your video.
Did you?
No Mazal Tov.
Well, it's happened.
It's
so
happened
you can
already.
say Mazel Tov now.
Yeah, now we can do it.
Yeah, but what video are we talking about?
Oh,
Sell yourself.
Yeah. So the email announcements. Yeah, that was great. It was good to do. It was good to be back. I said last night, every time I've ever taken a break from work, whether it was at the synagogue or in my radio life, I love the break because it brought perspective and refreshing and renewed energy, and I'm always excited to be back. And it's great. So thank you to the team here for making it possible for me to leave for a month. Very few rabbis have that kind of luxury, so I was very thankful for that. So to you, and to Bill, and to Leslie, and to Marvin, and to all of our congregants and viewers, thank you so much for the messages too, and some nice gifts and warm welcomes. It's been great, but it's good to be back. I'm going to ask you what I ask my students. Not did you miss me, but how much did you miss me?
lots.
Lots. Don't make me start. I can tell you.
That's always my favorite moment when
Would you
I
like a
learned that
list?
the hard way.
We can give you a list.
There's even footage of it.
You say to a 12-year-old kid, "Did you miss me?" And then the kid looks sheepishly. No.
No. Honestly.
Not really at all.
Well, I
First week, you were away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a disagreement for the Torah reading. So
Yeah,
where's
I heard
Matthew?
all about it. I heard all about
I
it.
didn't realize we are going to miss this guy.
Yeah.
But Rabbi, you handled it very well.
It was good.
Thank you.
Well, you're a great team, so it's good. But it's been it was a nice month for me, and I heard great things from the shul, and now here we go again. We're back.
Welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Means you need a little bit of a break now too before Pesach.
Everybody.
That's right. Maybe after. We'll see. It's
Yeah. I always said one day I would like to just go to these Pesach resorts that they have. They don't have to do anything. You just, quote unquote, sell your entire house
good. Right.
and you go somewhere else.
Right.
One year.
Rabbi,
God
why
willing.
don't
I'm
you
gonna
go
do
a
a
step,
Pesach retreat.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
why don't you go a step higher? They have Pesach cruises.
Yeah, something like that.
So you just go enjoy.
Something like that. Yes. Or Pesach on space, right?
I'm not going
Every
there.
day of Pesach is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're away with it right out. That would be even better.
Okay.
But again, welcome everyone. We have a wonderful service prepared for you. Wonderful Parsha. I just want to say one little thing about this Parsha that we are going to read. Do we read the 13 principles this year, the attributes?
Not this year.
Not this year, but in this Parsha contains the 13 attributes of mercy of God. It's something that you may remember from the high holidays, Adonai, Adonai, El Rahum, Vehanun. But there is one thing that I learned from there is at the beginning, there is the repetition of the name God. He said, God, God. Why the repetitions? And the rabbi said, that is for us to remember that the first God represents us before any kind of transgression that we may do. The second one is God after. And because it's the same one, it's a reminder that God never changes. Sometimes we change. Sometimes we're in a good mood. Sometimes we're in a bad mood. Sometimes we do great things. Sometimes we do not so good things. But God never changes. So no matter what we are going through, we can always relate to that God, everlasting, ever present in our life. And that's an invitation for each one of you to open your heart, open your soul, and do your best to connect with that God. We're going to help you, but you have to play along. You have to sing along. You have to participate. So don't be a spectator, be a participator, and I can guarantee you, you will find that sometimes elusive connection to the Creator of the world. So why don't we start by counting our blessings with the Birkot HaShachar, page 5 from the Siddur. If you don't have it, sz@winnipeg.ca, you can download the PDF. Please rise, let's sing together. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan la'aseh k'fi min halev ki b'yom v'layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Israel. Together. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai pokei achivrim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish harumim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokeif kefufim. Amen. Elohai, Elohai. Neshama, Neshama, Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Page 6. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz halamayim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asah li kol tzorki. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechi mitzadei gaver. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Israel v'gevura. Amen. Please join us. Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, tatabi, shena tatabi. Tehorahi, tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael v'tifarah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten layahev kohan.
Amen.
Elohai,
Elohai.
Neshama,
Neshama.
Shena tatabi,
Shena tatabi.
Tehorahi,
Tehorahi.
Please remain standing. Page 7. We are going to continue with Baruch She'amar. Baruch She'amar ve'aya olam. Baruch Baruch Oseh Bereshit. Baruch Omer ve'oseh. Baruch Osenu Mekayem. Baruch Merachem al haaretz. Baruch Merachem al haberiot. Baruch Meshalem Sachar Tov lire'av. Baruch Na'alad Vekayam lanetzach. Baruch Odeh Umatzil. Baruch Shemo. Come on. La 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 And you may be seated. Whew, the chat is on fire today. What's going on, Leslie?
Well, I'd like to welcome so many people here. Welcome to David Wilder and Amira, Bonnie Robinson, Leon Pinkovich, Shabbat Shalom, Melanie Richters with Ryan and Sarah. So good to see you all this morning. Murray and Sharon Nazen, Sandy Polanski, Eric Green. Oh, Sarah Richters was the first to smash the like button today. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for letting us know. I love knowing there are kid participants here, so thank you for saying hello. Rocky Pollock is here, Irene Boxer-Meyerowitz, Shabbat Shalom, Jerome Foman, David Goldenberg, Clyde Hertig, Bonnie Cham, Hannon Bell, Louis and Deb Stern, Judy Chirac, Corey Glassberg, Alice Wiseman, there's so many. Josue Selva, Alan and Gloria Cantor, Lynn Trachtenberg. Good to see you all. Stephen Cantor, Rena Shernick. Hola, Anibal.
Yeah, that's my mother.
That's your mom. Hello, welcome here, and it's always good to have you at the service and to know Anibal's mom flies to Winnipeg every Saturday to catch Shabbat with him. That's so nice.
Hola, mommy.
Hola, mommy.
Yeah.
Dolly Cohen, welcome.
She can fly if you want. She was vaccinated, so she could fly.
Wow,
eventually.
that must be such heartening news for your family. That's amazing. I love good news.
Yeah.
We're all about good news. We have Dolly Cohen, Mila Mirkin, Zelda Elkin, Lillian Neiman, Joanne Seif, Leo and Sammy. Hello to you guys. It's so good to have you here, and hello to Jeff as well. Wow, it just keeps going. This is amazing. Terry, welcome from balmy Ontario. We've been lucky with a wave of surprise spring weather here as well. Dale Marcus, Israel and Lori Ben Noon, Peter Petrenko, Yerach, Earl Barish, Karen Farkas, Marilyn Pearl, and Chana Tao. Good Shabbos to you all. Welcome here, and let's all daven together.
Beautiful. Thank you, Leslie.
And thanks to all the people who have thrown welcome back messages in there. I really appreciate it. It's great to be back with all of you.
Let's continue on page 8, middle of the page. Let's praise together the name of God by singing and proclaiming, Hallelujah. Hallelujah, El Vekotsho, Hallelujah, Virgia Uzo, Hallelujah, Big Murota, Hallelujah, Kerov Godlo, Hallelujah, Shofar, Hallelujah, Benavel Bechinot, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Betofu Machol, Hallelujah, Veminim Veugav, Hallelujah, Vetzil Tzleshama, Hallelujah, Vetzil Tzletrua, Kol Anshama de Hallelujah. Together, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. And I would like to invite you now to rise so we can recite together, as is the tradition here at the Sherry Zedek, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 46. Itgadal ve'it kadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma diverach irute, be'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'vyom echon, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו
Amen.
You may be seated as we return to page 10. Second paragraph, Shochenat Marom. Shochenat Marom vekadosh shemo.
Shochenat Mamrom vekadosh shemo.
Befi yesharim titalal v'divrei tzadikim titvarach uvilshon chasidim תתרומם וקרב קדושים תתקדש. Bottom of the page, the חצי קדיש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמרבה
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יש לרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך ויל שמר קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמיד גם בעלמא ואמרו 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 I would like to invite everybody to rise now as we turn to page 12 to bless the name of God, the source of all blessing. Parah. Barechu et Adonai ha-mevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uboreh choshech oseh shalom uboreh hakol. And you may be seated as we begin to prepare ourselves for the Shema Israel. On page 13, we have the second blessing before the recitation of the Shema. V'ha'er eineinu. V'ha'er eineinu B'toratecha B'toratecha V'dabek libeinu B'mitzvotecha B'mitzvotecha V'ha'er eineinu V'toratecha V'toratecha V'dabek libeinu ויחד לבבנו לאהבה ולידה את שמך ולא נבוש לעולם ועד ולא נבוש לעולם ועד כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנודע בדקנו נגילה ונשמחה וישועתך והאר עינינו ותורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך ומצוותיך. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. Page 14, שמע ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 You can open your eyes. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 Page 15. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך בשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Please continue silently, bottom of page 15, the whole page 16 and top of page 17. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 17, middle of the page, Mi Kamocha. Mi Kamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osefele. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osefele. שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים לשמך, על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. Please rise. צור ישראל אומת בעזרת ישראל, ופתחנו מכה יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל. And please remain standing for the Amidah, our central prayer. This is the opportunity within the opportunity to connect with God. Back in the day, we used to have sacrifices in the temple, Jerusalem. The temple was destroyed. And the rabbi has to figure out a way to replace that strong connection that the people of Israel felt at those times in the temple. The response to that new challenge was the Amidah. So every time we recite each one of the blessings of the Amidah, we should feel that we are strengthening our connection with the Creator of the world. I like the way the Hasidim describe the Amidah, at least the silent part. They call it the private audience with the Creator of the world. So take it as that opportunity A moment where you can open your heart to God. And at that moment, you can ask God for whatever you feel you need. Sometimes we share our joys. Sometimes we share our sorrows. But it's great to know that God is always there, listening to our prayers. So let's continue with the Amidah on page 18. We're going to start singing in Hebrew the first 3 blessings. And after the Ledor Vador, you can continue with Hebrew or English, or you can also use your own words of prayer, if that will help you to achieve that connection with God. Page 18, let's start together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor ve'Anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו ואהבה מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחי אמת אימתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיים מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך מימית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנת להחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. Bottom of page 20. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו וישמע מרום הכתוב היד נביאך וקרא זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו אז וכל רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנשאים לעומת צרפים לעומת העם ברוך יאמרו ברוך יבוא אדוני ממקומו במקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו כמחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון וקרוב, וימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. והננו תרנו מלכותך כדבר אמור בשל יוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. Hallelujah. Page 22. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש האדם, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ברוך אתה אדוני. האל הקדוש. Please continue silently with the recitation of the Amidah. And once you complete your prayers, please feel free. Be seated. דקדיש שלם, page 32. יתקדל ותקדש ימדבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותה ויקונו יום יקונו כתיקון את ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ויאמרו, אמן. יש מרבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה.
יתברך.
ברק וישתבח ותרון ברא ותנשא ותדר ותעלה ותרעל שמתי קודשה. בריחו לעין למקונו כתב ושידת נטוש וכתב ונקמת תמידי מעלמא ויאמרו.
אמן.
תתקבל צלות ונבותיהם דכל ישראל קודם אבון ושמיה ויאמרו.
אמן.
יש לה מרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו.
אמן.
עשה שלום ממרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi Mas.
Yasher Koach, Robert Leibel.
And Leslie and Bill and Marvin Polanski, our audiovisual director, and everyone joining us. What a great shacharit. I loved it. Good stuff.
Yeah, you missed it for a month, so don't complain.
You know what? I remember most of the. I remember most of the notes. There were a few tempos where I had to kind of catch up to you or slow down to you, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty seamless. I don't think anyone watching for the first time would have thought that I was that rusty.
By the way,
Degrees of rust, maybe.
But thank you for the reminder. What happened if somebody's watching for the first time? What do they have,
You see how we did that there, right?
what do they have to do?
That was all planned. Click the bell, subscribe, let us know who they are, stuff like that. I don't know. What have you been doing what have you been saying lately? I'm rusty, remember?
Okay. Hit record button. If you're new to our channel, so what we'd like you to do is to hit the subscribe button, and then after that, hit the bell. So you're going to be notified every time we go live or every time we upload some content to our channels. And the other thing you can do, actually this is good to help us to grow our channel, is to like this video. Because I'm pretty sure you like it anyway. So if you did, just hit that like button. Looks like a thumb, like this. Or maybe like this, depends, right? And that would also let us know that you enjoy what we are doing. So thank you for being there again. Stop button.
Right. Now on to the Torah service. Today we have the Parsha of Tisa, which, Rabbi, you alluded to earlier in your comments. It is, as you know, we follow the triennial cycle. Today, Tisa covers a very, very famous episode of our ancestors in the wilderness, the episode of the golden calf. It does also contain the 13 attributes, which we will see in just a few weeks when this Parsha reappears as part of the readings for Pesach.
It's a roller coaster.
We'll come back. Today's
the
reading.
Parsha. But actually, literally, with Moses going up and down.
Yes, up the mountain, down the mountain, exactly. So a lot of stuff to come. But it's also, in the couple of months, leading up to Pesach, there are 4 special Shabbatot kind of sprinkled along the way. While I was gone, maybe you're with us for Shabbat Shekalim or Shabbat Zachor. Today is the 3rd of those 4 special Shabbatot, Shabbat Parah, the Shabbat of the red heifer. This weird ritual involving the burning down of a very rare breed of cow, a brownish red cow, and using its ashes to help purify people who have come close to corpses, close to death. So it's got 2 Torah scrolls, a special mafter, and a special mafter reader in-house. Ooh. Not bad. We'll introduce her later on as she gets close. But for now, page 34, the 2 Torah scrolls are coming out, and we invite you to rise.
33.
That's what I said. Rusty. 33. See, it's always little details. Are you doing this one, Rabbi? Or are you?
Yes, because we have 2 scrolls.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm gonna. ויהי בנשוא אהרון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
אחד אלוהינו גדול אדוננו קדוש שמו
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo
גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרוממה שמו יחדיו לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד כי כל בשמיים ובארץ כל בשמיים ובארץ אדוני הממלכה ועמיתו של לכל ראש רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו לאדון רגליו קדוש הוא רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Yasher Koach again to you, Rabbi. Great job leading us through the first part of the service.
Baruch Tieh. By the way, if there is anybody who has a Zoom aliyah,
No. Oh, has a Zoom Aliyah.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, because I was going to say we're all full on the Aliyot list.
I'll meet you in the Zoom in a minute. Because some people may have tried to connect at the beginning of the service and this Zoom was not working.
That's right.
It is working now.
So we have a number of people with Zoom
See you there.
Aliyot, and make sure that you are logging in right now. To Rabbi Moss will head to the back of our room, of our sanctuary, and become our Zoom host. Zoom. All right. Again, thanks so much for all the nice comments. If people are just kind of newer, I was away for a month, and my wife and I welcomed our second son to our family, Felix, to join his older brother, Hugo. And I was able to take a month off because the last time when Hugo was born, I was back at work something like 3 days later, and it was very chaotic, and this was much better pace for the family. And I really appreciated the time. Again, for my colleagues, my wonderful colleagues, terrific. Leslie, Bill, Rabbi Moss, other people here in the office, Robert, Rena, Estelle, Lena, Ina, Eduardo, Alexandra, even Chef Joel. Stacy. That's right. I did well. For no notes, trying to remember everybody. Thank you to everyone for making it possible and for welcoming me back. It was a great first week back. And now I'm thrilled to be back for my first Torah service back. Again, 2 Torah scrolls, Shabbat Parah, in addition to Shabbat Parshat Ki Tisa, which is where we are going to begin. Ki Tisa, you can follow along. If you have a copy of the Etz Chaim Chumash, red, leather-bound book, grab it. If not, every week we update our website, szwinnipeg.ca, with copies of pages from the Etz Chaim Chumash available in a PDF so that you can follow along. If you would prefer to have a Chumash open, but you have a different Chumash, we will be calling page numbers for the Etz Chaim, but also chapter and verse. I know my Baba, for example, she's got her trusted Bible that she's been following along with, and she always wants to know the chapter and the verse. So Baba, we're in Exodus, the book of Exodus still. Chapter 31, we're going to be reading off the end of chapter 31, verse 18. If you've got the Etz Chaim Chumash, that begins on page 529. As we mentioned, here in Triennial Year 2, Ki Tisa, today's reading focuses on the sin and the aftermath of the golden calf. Quite famous, one of the more familiar episodes of the entire Torah, certainly of our people's journey in the wilderness. The great sin of the wilderness. In fact, in many references in the Talmud to calamities of the Jewish people, the golden calf is always kind of held as the standard, the gold standard. Just came up with that right now. The gold standard of sin. Wait, that doesn't fit. Whatever, the pun was worth it. There are references in the Talmud. It was such a bad day. It hadn't been such a bad day since the golden calf. So this is one of those turning point moments in the early history of the Jewish people. Just the context you need. It's only been a few weeks since the revelation at Mount Sinai, since the giving of the Torah, of the tablets, of all those mitzvot. It's only been a few weeks. In fact, Moshe went up on the mountain right after that, and it's been 40 days and 40 nights. We know this. Maybe the people have lost track. They certainly are impatient. It's been longer than they expected, whatever they expected. But it's been a month. It's been 40 days. It's been a little over a month. And already they are starting to show signs of disloyalty, impatience, and turning away from all of the things that have happened to them up to this point. Remember, these are the people who were slaves, who got out of Egypt, who lived through all of that. Again, the parting of the sea, the revelation at Sinai, and, well, they don't exactly make God or Moses that proud in this parsha. So Moses is up on the mountain. In fact, the last 2 weeks, Parshat Truma and Parshat Tetzaveh were all relayed to Moshe, to Moses, the instructions for the Mishkan, while he was up on the mountain. So the people haven't seen him, and we are going to pick up that story right now. The people haven't seen him, and they're thinking, maybe he's not coming back. Chapter 31 in the book of Exodus, beginning with verse 18. Our Torah reader for the first 3 aliyot is our lay clergy, Leslie Emery. She is also our first honoree this morning, commemorating the yortzeit of her great-grandmother, Lily Coven. Page 529, Torah reading begins now. V'yazor v'yashil achol achosim bo v'nomar amen. Hakol avu godel Eloheinu tnu chavel Torah ta'amod. Shoshana b'alei malka l'aliyah rishona. Baruch shenatan Torah Yisrael b'kedushato. Ve'atem madvigim Adonai Elohechem. Chaim kolchem hayom.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ויתן אל משה ככלתו לדבר איתו בהר סיני, שני לוחות העדות, לוחות אבן כתובים באצבע אלוהים. וירא העם כי בושש משה לרדת מן ההר, ויקל העם על אהרון, ויאמרו אליו קום עשה לנו אלוהים, אשר ילכו לפנינו, כי זה משה האיש, אשר העלינו מארץ מצרים, לא ידענו מה היה לו. ויאמר עליהם אהרון, פרקו נזמי הזהב, אשר באוזני נשיכם, בניכם ובנותיכם, ויביאו אלי, ויתפרקו כל העם, את נזמי הזהב אשר באוזניהם, ויביאו אל אהרון, ויקח מידם, ויעצר אותו בחרת, ויעשהו עגל מסכה, ויאמרו אלה אלוהיך ישראל, אשר העלוך מארץ מצרים. וירא אהרון, ויבן מזבח לפניו, ויקרא אהרון, ויאמר, חג לאדוני מחר, וישכימו ממחרות, ויעלו עולות, ויקשו שלמים, וישב העם לכו ושתו, ויקומו לצחק. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Leslie, we offer you a Yasher Kochech
Baruch tiyeh.
on the Torah reading and also on the Aliyah. I mentioned to our audience last night for Kabbalat Shabbat, as part of today's Torah play-by-play commentary, I'll be explaining where this expression, Yasher Koach, Yasher Kochech, comes from. I bet you don't know. Well, I bet some of you know, but maybe you don't know. I didn't know till I learned it the first time, and I've been waiting for an opportunity to share it, and today is the time to share it, but not right now. It comes from a midrash later on. We're going to get to it. But actually, there was a midrash in what Leslie just read for us I wanted to share with you, because maybe you've heard this one before. In fashioning the golden calf and gathering all the gold, you see there's some wordplay there where Aaron, feeling the pressure, says to this group, the angry mob, get all your jewelry, get all your wives' jewelry, and pull it together and we'll do something with it. And the way that the Hebrew is, see, Hebrew is funny, right? Like in the conjugation of masculine and feminine. If you have, 90 men in a room, one man in a room and 90 women, it still uses the masculine plural. But in this case, because the way that it's phrased, the Midrash tells us that the women did not participate. Only the men participated in this ask. The women said, this is a terrible idea, we want no part of it. So if you look closely, Aaron says, take it out of, the earrings out of your ears and your wives' ears. And in the end, it says they took them out of their ears only, not their wives' ears. So we infer, the Midrash tells us the women didn't participate. And the Midrash goes on to say that for not participating in fashioning the golden calf, God will later reward all of the women of the Israelite community with their own special holiday once a month, Rosh Chodesh. And if you've ever heard of Rosh Chodesh having this very important feminist connection, a celebration for women, a day off for women from a lot of the domestic duties and things like that, it calls back to this exact moment that Leslie just read for us, a reward, a monthly reward, 12 times a year for not participating in the golden calf for all time. That's why Rosh Chodesh became a women's holiday. Let's continue with our Torah reading. We're on verse 7, now into chapter 32. Exodus chapter 32, this Sheni, second Aliyah, will cover verses 7 through 11. And we're on page 531 in the Etz Chaim Chumash. Our honoree for this Aliyah, an honorary honoree, not joining us by Zoom, but joining us still by name, and in celebration of a very special birthday, his 81st birthday, in fact, is our good friend and member, Jerry Moskovich. Jerry sang bass in the Shared Zedek choir for
Ever.
a
Forever.
long time. It was like he was one of those voices when I was growing up that El Melech Yoshev al Kisei Rachamim. Way better than that, but that was like one of his signatures, right? And so it's great to have Jerry back. Jerry and Gloria are always marking very, very special milestones in their lives, anniversaries, birthdays, other commemorations, and today is no exception. Jerry's 81st birthday, and so we're thrilled. Bill Wiseman will recite the blessings on Jerry's behalf. Now as we continue on page 531. Yamor Yona ben Moshe Levi v'Chienka Aliyah Hashniya.
Jerry, welcome, my former choir partner. So I'm going to do it in your style and in your speed.
Oh boy.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Havorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Vorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lechred ki shichet tamecha asher helita me'eretz Mitzrayim tzaru maher min haderech asher tzivitem asu lahem ega masecha vayishtachavu lo vayizbechu lo vayomru El Elohecha Yisrael asher helucha me'eretz Mitzrayim Vayomer Adonai el Moshe Ra'iti et ha'am hazeh v'hineam kshe'oref hu ve'ata hanicha li vayichar api lahem v'achalem v'aseh otcha legoy gadol vayecha Moshe et pnei Adonai Elohav Vayomer lama Adonai echere apcha be'amecha asher hotzeta me'eretz Mitzrayim bechoach gadol uveyad chazaka.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chaye Olam Nata B'tocheinu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Very many, many happy returns. And I did hear you an octave lower than I was singing.
As we mentioned, Jerry Moskovich celebrating a very special birthday with this aliyah, and we offer this very special Misha Berach to you, Jerry. Misha Berach Avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yevarech et Yona ben Moshe Levi v'Chienka She'ala hayom lichvod hamakom v'lichvod haTorah v'lichvod haShabbat ulehodot al kol hachasadim asher gamalo Elohim miyom hivaldo ad hayom hazeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmor oto v'et kol mishpachto v'yishlach bracha v'tzlacha b'chol masei yadav im kol Yisrael echa v'nomar Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless Jerry Moskovich, who has come for an aliyah this morning with reverence for God and respect for the Torah in this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. Jerry, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, continue to bless you with length of years, with good health, with the pleasures of Torah study, and with the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of ma'asim tovim, a life of good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may your example remind us, people may count the days of their lives, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. As Bill said, Mazel Tov, many happy returns of the day, and let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
Let's move on to our next Aliyah, Shlishi, the third reading. Leslie Emery will read one more for us. In the Etz Chaim, we're page 532. Exodus chapter 32, verses 12, 13, and 14. As you saw, God tells Moses, you better get down there. The people are blowing it. And starting there and then continuing on here, you see God's wrath, a knee-jerk reaction, God wanting to wipe away the people and start new with Moses, and the first of several kind of talking God back down moments that happens here and then kind of the rest of the Parsha. Moses, this Parsha really highlights Moses' incredible skill and the closeness of his relationship with God, which we'll touch on later, but especially Moses' ability to talk God out of certain things. In this case, we'll see him kind of successfully talk God out of this reaction wanting to destroy the people. Let's see that unfold here. In our third Aliyah, our honor goes to Hanan Bell, joining us by Zoom. We've got Hanan. Hanan Bell joining us by Zoom. With this Aliyah, he is commemorating his father Leon Bell's Yortzeit. Hanan, it is great to have you. We'll continue now with the third Aliyah. Ya'amod Elchanan ben Aryeh Leib v'Shoshana l'Aliyah hashliishit.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lama yomru mitzrayim lemor. Berahotziam lerogotam be'arim. Uchalotam me'apnei ha'adama. Shuv mecheron apecha v'nachem al hara'a le'amecha. Zechor l'Avraham litzchak u'litzra'el avadecha asher nishbata lahem bach latidabeh alehem arbet zarachem kechochvei hashamayim v'kol haaretz hazot asher amarti eten lezarachem v'nachalu le'olam Vayinachem Adonai ahara asher diber lasod le'amo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tachenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach to Hanan Bell, our third honoree this morning. And Yasher Kochech again, Leslie Emery. Beautiful Torah readings this morning.
Baruch Tia, thank you.
Really good. Really, really good to get us started. Again, that expression, Yasher Koach, which we use so much in synagogue, so many times. We should probably have a counter, a Yasher Koach counter. It has a connection to this Parsha, and I'll tell you that story coming up in just a moment. How interesting, right, in Moses, in how he plays God, he appeals to God's sense of like, what will the Egyptians say? always figured, like, does God really care what the Egyptians are? Well, the Egyptians are going to say, you took those people out just to kill them in the wilderness. What will the Egyptians say? And then that helps sway God back. I always found that kind of interesting. But he does, sort of. We'll see that God isn't exactly letting the people off the hook as we continue. I'm going to make my way up to the bima, and then I'll tell you what we'll continue. Give me 1 second.
Just to fill the void, I just want to say it's so nice to have you back. And you keep saying that you're rusty. My interpretation of that is that you're rested, not rusty. When I was in sports radio, that was always a great debate, right? The team that has time off to heal their wounds between playoff series and the team that's feeling the flow and going from one series right into the next with no rest. Is it better to have the rest or does it turn into rust? That was always a question. Well, the answer is it's better to have the rest. In this case.
We'll see. Okay, so we're going to continue here with Rivi E, our fourth aliyah. I'm now in this camera, right, Marvin? Speaking of rest, this one? I'm good? Yeah. Marvin Polanski, audio visual director to the stars, my favorite Marvin. Rivi E, the fourth aliyah, is page 533 in the Etz Chaim Chumash, and it is chapter 32 in the book of Exodus, verses 15 through 24. This is one of those amazing moments as Moses comes down the hill, comes down the mountain, and sees for himself what God warned him about. I don't want to do the whole spoiler alert thing, but I think most people know about Moses' reaction. We'll talk about that more after. For now, let's continue. Joining us on Zoom for this aliyah, our honorees are Lynn and Henry Trachtenberg. They are commemorating Lynn's mother's yortzeit, Sally Sarah Nelko, with this honor to the Torah. Henry, Lynn, it is great to have you both. Let's continue with Rivi E now. Ya'amdu Tamabad Mordechai v'Sarah v'Henoch ben Shalom u'Basaleya Lalia Harvit.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayifen vayered Moshe min hahar u'shnei luchot ha'idut beyado luchot ktuvim mishnei evrehem mizeh u'mizehem ktuvim ve'aluchot maseh Elohim hema ve'amichtav michtav Elohim hu charut al haluchot vayishma Yoshua kol ha'am bereo vayomer el Moshe kol milchama b'machaneh vayomer ein kol anod gvura ve'ein kol anod chalusha kol anod anochi shomea Vayehi kasher karav el hamachaneh vayared ha'egel umcholot vayicharav Moshe vayashlech miyadav et haluchot vayishaber otam tachat hahar vayikach et ha'egel asher asu vayisrof ba'esh vayidchan ad asher dak vayizer al pnei hamayim vayash kepnei Israel. Vayomer Moshe laHaron me'asa lecha ha'am hazeh ki heveit alav chata gedola. Vayomer Aharon al yicharaf Adoni ata yadata et ha'am ki verahu. Vayomru li aseh lanu Elohim asher yelchu lefanenu ki zeh Moshe ha'ish asher helanu meretz Mitzrayim lo yadanu mehayalo. Va'omar lahem lemizahav hitparaku va'inuli va'yashlichehu ba'esh va'yetzeh
ha'egel hazeh.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Great to have you with us, Lynn and Henry. Yasher kochech to you, Lynn. Yasher koach to you, Henry. Thank you for joining us for this Shabbat morning and for this Aliyah, this special Aliyah. So, we have it, the moment where Moshe sees for his own, with his own eyes the golden calf. This, that expression in the Torah, Vayichar af. His rage overtakes him and he smashes the tablets. I talked about this a little bit last night. If you're with us for Kabbalat Shabbat, I think it's interesting, God's reaction. And the Talmud picks up on God's reaction because we know there's an episode later in the wilderness where Moses, out of frustration and anger, smacks a rock, and God gets really loses it and says, for that you're not going into the land of Israel. But here, you'd think smacking a rock, okay, fine. But breaking the tablets, this you'd think would cost him the land of Israel. But no. In fact, later on, when God helps Moses fashion the replacement set, God's language is very positive, encouraging, almost congratulatory. In the Talmud, about this episode, we have a little story that says God was pleased with Moses for breaking the tablets. Why? Because the covenant that they were breaking by fashioning this golden calf, by breaking the tablets, it destroyed the covenant, so it got Bnei Israel off the hook. The covenant was brand new. As I like to say, the ink on the tablets wasn't even dry. And here they are worshiping, making an idol, worshiping a false god, like right off the top. It's not even rules 9 and 10. It's like rule 1, rule 2. Come on. And Moses breaks the tablets to absolve Bnei Israel in a way. And for that, God was pleased. And God, in his way said, or in God's way said, Yasher Koach. That's where Yasher Koach comes from. Yasher Koach, it's a bitui, it's an expression, an idiom, hard to translate. If you were gonna say it literally, it's kind of like straight strength. Koach, strength, Yasher, Yashar, Yasher, straight. It's probably a little bit of abbreviation, Yasher Kochacha. May you go from strength to strength. May your strength stay straight. The best, I was scouring the internet over the course of the week. What's a good way to say it? How would we say it? More power to you. When you say Yasher Koach to someone, it's like saying more power to you. And when Moses broke the tablets, it was the first time of a Yasher Koach moment in Jewish history where God said to Moses, more power to you. I find that pretty interesting. Hopefully you do too. Let's continue. Chamishi, 5th Aliyah, page 535 in the Etz Chaim Chumash, chapter 32. We're working our way through it. Verses 25 through 29. Joining us on Zoom for this Aliyah for Chamishi is Clyde Hertig. He's a double commemoration. First, his father's yortzeit, Harvey Hertig, and also Clyde's 65th birthday. Covering all of the emotions here, Clyde. It is great to have you. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. We're thrilled to call you for this 5th Aliyah. Yamod. Chiachano ben Chaim v'Leah, l'Aliyah hachamishit.
Thank you. I just wanted to say this was my parsha, my bar mitzvah parsha. Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayar Moshe Ram kifaru ahu kifrao Aharon l'shimtza bekamehem. Vayamod Moshe b'shar hamachane vayomer miladonai Elai vayesfu elav kol bnei Levi vayomer lahem ko amar Adonai Elohei Yisrael simu ish charbo al yerecho Ivru vashuvu mishar lashar b'machaneh v'hirgu ishet achiv v'ishet rehu v'ishet krovo vayasu v'nei Levi kidvar Moshe vayipol minam bayom ahu kishloshet alfei ish vayomer Moshe milu yedchem hayom ladonai ki ish bivno uvachiv v'lated aleichem hayom bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishe Berach Avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yevarech Et Chiachano ben Chaim v'Leah She'ala hayom lichvod hamakom v'lichvod haTorah v'lichvod haShabbat Ulhodod al kol hachasadim asher gamalo Elohim miyom hivaldo ad hayom hazeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmor oto v'kol mishpachto v'yishlach bracha v'tzacha b'chol masei yadav Im ko Yisrael echav v'nomar amen. We mentioned Clyde joining us on Zoom is celebrating his 65th birthday, a wonderful milestone, also with his bar mitzvah parsha, makes sense. And so, Clyde, to you we offer this special Misha Berach. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless Clyde Hertig, who has come for an aliyah this morning with reverence for God and respect for the Torah in this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. Clyde, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, continue to bless you with length of years, good health, pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of ma'asim tovim, a life of good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may your example remind us, people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. Mazel tov, yasher koach, many happy returns of the day, and let us all say, Amen. Simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael.
Mazel tov, many happy returns. And next time you can
Thank you.
You can get up and dance if you want. I noticed you were moving around.
Yes, I love the songs and the singing, and it's a wonderful service, which the Zoom is fantastic in the days of COVID. And thank you very much, and welcome back, Rabbi, and thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much, Clyde. Happy birthday again. So glad that you could join us. We move on now to Shishi, our 6th Aliyah, and another birthday celebration as well. We're up to page 535. We're going to finish off chapter 32, beginning with verse 30, and move into the next chapter through to verse 6. I will admit, what happened in the last Aliyah is tough. It's uncomfortable to say the least that Moses rallies a bunch of Levites, a bunch of Bnei Levi, and they go through and they kill all the perpetrators among their own tribe, among their own family, for this sin of the golden calf. I don't know if that part of the story gets talked about as much as Moses' reaction, but as we saw, it happens right there. And it's uncomfortable. We're ending that with the word bracha, a bit of a blessing, a reward for that. So it's hard to stomach that. At least for me it is, for sure. We'll keep going and see what comes next. I mentioned we've got another birthday celebration. We couldn't convince him to join us by Zoom, but that's okay. Murray Nazin, a Shabbat morning regular, longtime board member, former longtime chair of our ritual committee, and current member of our ritual committee. Murray Nazin he's commemorating his mother's yortzeit, that's Sylvia Nazin, but he's also celebrating his 74th birthday with us this morning. So Murray, great to have you along as our 6th honorary honoree. Bill Wiseman will recite the blessings. Again, page 535, verses 30 to verse 6. Yamod Moshe ben Yaakov u'tzivya l'aliyah hashishit.
Just also wanted to say, Murray has become quite a regular at Daily Minyan now over Zoom. Yeah, he's in most mornings and evenings.
Right on.
So Murray, nice to see you on Friday morning. You had all your family from all over North America join us. It really gave us a wonderful boost that morning. It's a wonderful service, by the way, Friday morning. So if you're ready, Murray, here we go. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai vorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai vorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi mimachorat. Vayomer Moshe lam. Atem chatatem chata gedola. Ve'ata el Adonai. Ulai achapra be'ad chatatchem. Vayashov Moshe el Adonai. Vayomar ana chata hazeh chata gedola. Vayasu lahem Elohei Zahav, ve'ata im Tisa chatatam, v'mayin mechenina misifrecha asher katavta. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, mi asher chatali, emchenu misifri, ve'ata lech nechedam. El asher dibarti lach, hine malachi elech lefanecha, uvyom pokdi, ufakadati alehem chatatam, vayigof Adonai et ha'am, al asher asu et ha'egel, asher asa Aharon, vayedaber Adonai el Moshe, lechale mizeh, ata ve'am, asher helita meretz Mitzrayim, el aretz asher nishbati, le'Avraham li'Yitzchak u'Yaakov le'mor le'zaracha etnena, v'shilachti levanecha malach, v'gerashti et ha'knani ha'emori, v'achiti ve'aprizi, achivi ve'ayevusi, el eretz zavat chalav u'dvash, ki lo ele b'kirbecha, ki am ksheoref ata pen achelcha badarech, vayishmam et hadavar hara hazeh, vayitabalu velo shatu ish edyo alav, vayomer Adonai el Moshe, emor el bnei Yisrael atem am ksheoref rega echad, ele b'kirbecha v'chiliticha ve'ata hored et yecha me'alecha ve'eda ma'eselach, vayitnatzlu v'nei Yisrael et yam mehar, et yam mehar chorev. Thanks, Leslie. Good gabbaying.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'haye olam nata betochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yavarech et Moshe ben Yaakov u'Tzivya She'ala hayom lichvod hamakom v'lichvod haTorah v'lichvod haShabbat u'lehodot al kol hachasadim asher gamalo Elohim miyom hivaldo ad hayom hazeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmor tov et kol mishpachto v'yishlach bracha v'tzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadav Im ko Yisrael echa v'nomar Amen. It's really special and wonderful to celebrate your birthday this morning, Murray. And it's even more special for me to offer you this Misha Berach. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless Murray Nazin, who has come for an aliyah this morning with reverence for God and with respect for the Torah and this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. Murray, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, continue to bless you with length of years, good health, with the pleasures of Torah study, and with the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of ma'asim tovim, that is a life of good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may your example remind us, people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. Mazel tov, yasher koach, and let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Simin tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, simin tov, simin tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, simin tov, simin tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, simin tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Happy birthday again to you, Murray. We'll move on now to Shvi'i, our seventh and final reading from this first scroll, concluding today's reading of the Parsha from Tisa. As you were following there, you may pick up on the fact that God, even though God didn't destroy all the people, like God's first reaction, Moses talked God out of that, God's still not pleased by any stretch. You may think, oh, God's sending an angel to lead the people. That's not so bad. Originally, it was supposed to be God, God's self. So the angel is a demotion, right? I can't even look at you people. In fact, if I have to go among you people, I'm going to kill all of you. So I'm going to send an angel instead. You still got to go. I'm still giving you the land, but I'm not happy about it. I'm not going with you. And right now, the whole idea of the Mishkan, a home for God dwelling amidst the people, is also in jeopardy. As we will see in this last reading, Moses moves the tent of meeting, the Ohel Moed, the place where Moses communicates with God, outside the camp. God doesn't even want it inside the camp anymore. So this relationship, as we leave it today, not so good. But I mean, come on, of course, the golden calf, you're not going to fix it right away. Reconciliation sometimes takes time. And the people, I mean, they've already shown that they're sad and they feel badly about it, but these people are developing very quickly a habit of sinning, getting punished, saying sorry, and then being forgiven, and then sinning all over again. So, not a great cycle. Let's see how this last reading goes. I'll have one more little thing at the very end of the reading. Watch for it. You'll see if you catch a very interesting expression to describe Moses' relationship with God. The words the Torah uses. It's got to be a metaphor, right? Let's see. The seventh Aliyah begins on page 537. We're in chapter 33. So it's verses 7 through 11. And our honoree, not on Zoom, is Abe Barenhout, commemorating his father Morris Barenhout's Yortzeit. Bill Wiseman will recite the blessings, page 537, verses 7 through 11, Shvi'i, the seventh Aliyah. Ya'amod Avram ben Moshe umenicha, l'Aliyah hashvit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai vorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai vorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai, נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. ומשה ייקח את האוהל ונטע לו מחוץ למחנה, הרחק מן המחנה, וקרא לו אוהל מועד. והיה כל מבקש אדוני יצא אל אוהל מועד אשר מחוץ למחנה. והיה כצאת משה אל האוהל, יקומו כל העם וניצבו איש פתח אהלו, והביטו אחרי משה עד בואו האוהלה. והיה כבוא משה האוהלה, ירד עמוד הענן, ועמד פתח האוהל, ודיבר עם משה. וראה כל העם את עמוד הענן עומד פתח האוהל, וקם כל העם והשתחוו איש פתח אהלו. ודיבר אדוני אל משה פנים אל פנים, כאשר ידבר איש אל רעהו. ושב אל המחנה ומשרתו יהושע בן נון נער לא ימיש מתוך האוהל.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. As we mentioned, it's Shabbat Parah, which means there's a special mafter from a second scroll. Barb Neiman has joined us this morning, and we'll be chanting this reading coming up in just a moment after we have Hag Banglila for the first scroll. I just quickly wanted to point it out. Hopefully you caught it there. Moses' relationship with God is described as being panim el panim. In fact, at the very end of the Torah, Moses dies, and we're told there's never been a prophet like Moses since. He's the only one who got to know God face to face. Well, it's funny because in just a few moments in the rest of this parsha, which we won't read today, but we will be reading at some point during Pesach, God tells Moses, I can't show you my face, otherwise you would die. So it's not a literal face-to-face, but especially now that we're a year, right? We're a year into this pandemic, a year since we closed our doors, a year since we have had to sacrifice face-to-face contact and communication. I think even with Zoom, it's remarkable because seeing a person's face is really great, right? On the phone, maybe in years past, we've had to do a lot of things on the phone. Now we have technology, so you can at least see people's face. But I think when we read here that the highest level, and I've written about this in the shofar before, I experienced it a lot when I was on the radio and I couldn't see my audience. It started to wear on me. When you can see someone face to face, that is the highest level of human interaction and human connection. And that's what it's getting at here. It's not literally that Moses got to see God's face. It's that the connection between Moses and God was of the highest level, face to face. And I was thinking about that in relation to the Parsha, but also in the pandemic, that I think we can really understand how special face to face truly is and how special Moses' connection with God was. We'll move on to the special mafter in just a second. If you want to get ready, you're going to have to do a little flipping. Go ahead to page 880. Page 880, or if you've got a different chumash, we go to the book of Numbers, book number 4. What's that? Bamidbar? Rusty. Book of Numbers, chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. We'll give a little introduction to that in just a moment. For now, I invite Bill Wiseman over to the reader table to lead us in Hag Banglila, the lifting and tying of the first scroll, and I invite all of you, please rise.
Bill is very experienced with these 2 Torah mornings, so We are witnessing Bill's two Torah system here.
Oh, yeah.
It does. It works really nicely.
The reason for the second Torah, by the way, is because the reading comes from somewhere later in the Torah, and you don't want to burden the congregation by making them wait through rolling the Torah, just waiting for the Hagbah Galila, I guess. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe ki mitzion tetzei Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim ki mitzion tetzei Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Please be seated. Again, Etz Chaim Chumash, page 880, Numbers chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. It's a very long Maftir reading, as Barb could tell you. I'm not sure which year in a row this makes it for Barb. Which year? Fourth year. This is year 4? So I guess 4 years ago, in anticipation of this, Barb Neiman, who got interested in Torah reading after her dad, Jack Neiman, a past president of our synagogue and a regular attendee every morning, and certainly on Shabbat, one of my friends started getting into Torah reading to honor him after he passed away. And in conversation, I learned that Shabbat Parah was Barb's bat mitzvah. And back in those days, she had a Friday night. She never read from the Torah, but she knew the Haftarah. And this is one of the reasons why we started learning Torah readings. And then it became an idea, well, why don't we learn the special maftir for Shabbat Parah? And I didn't tell her it was 22 verses long. She's like, this is a great idea, great. And then I was like, it's 22 verses long. And she learned it that first year, 4 years ago, and she's done it every year since. She's our go-to for Parah until there's another lucky bat mitzvah student. 50th anniversary of the bat. That's so cool. So not only will Barb be chanting this special maftir, but also the Haftarah as she did 50 years ago. It sounds weird. It just seems weird. It can't be. It just can't be. It's a very bizarre. They say that King Solomon, who was super wise, right, like a real wise guy, could never figure out the mystery of the Parah. And yes, to Jose, this is the beginning of Parshat Chukat. It is. The idea was there was this very, very rare cow. It was so like a special tint of brown. It was basically red. I think it says somewhere in the Mishnah or Talmud that this only happened like 7, 8, 9 times in history that there was one of these cows. They would burn the cow down. They would use the ashes. And as you'll see, it was a special ritual involving the ashes of this cow to purify people who had come into close contact with corpses, with death. This was a big deal. Remember, it was a very big deal to ancient Israelites. They felt that closeness to death contaminated you from being able to get close to the Mishkan or later the temple. So why was Shabbat Parah a thing? For me, the best way I can kind of tell you is with Pesach approaching, everyone in Israel was going to be making a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, to the Beit HaMikdash, to the temple, for the first of the Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, basically the first harvest of the year. Everyone was going to go down to Jerusalem. And so if someone near you had died, you needed to get purified. Nowadays, it's like 3 weeks from now, it's the first Seder. So get your dishes ready, start thinking about cleaning your house, make your plan, and don't forget that you can order Shered Zedek takeout by March 18th. Check our website for the details. Not too rusty. See? Not bad. Not
rusty at all.
But that's the idea, right? Is that Shabbat Parah, it's less about like trying to make sense of this ritual, which is fascinating, but more about, hey, Pesach is coming. 3 weeks. First Seder, 3 weeks tonight. Pesach is coming. Barb, you ready? Barb Neiman is both our Torah reader and our honoree. As you heard, her 50th anniversary of her bat mitzvah, and she is chanting for us, page 880, Numbers, chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. Ta'amod bracha bani Yoel Yitzchak v'Leah maftirach Chizki.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor. Zot chukat haTorah asher tziva Adonai lemor. Daber el bnei Israel vaychu elecha para aduma temima asher ein bamum asher lo ala aleha ol unetatem ota el Elazar hakohen vehotzi ota el michutz lamachane veshachat ota lefanav velakach Elazar hakohen midama betzba'o vehiza el nochach pnei ohel moed midama sheva pamim vesarav et hapara le'enav et orav et besara v'dama al pirsha Yisro velakach hakohen et zeres bezov ushni tolat vehishlich el tos refat hapara vekibes begadav hakohen verachatz besaro b'mayim ve'achar yavo el hamachane v'tameh hakohen hara'aref v'hasoref ota yechabes begadav b'mayim verachatz besaro b'mayim v'tameh ad ha'aref ve'asaf ish tahor et ever hapara vehiniach michutz lamachane b'makom tahor ve'haita le'adat b'nei Israel lemishmeret lemenidach atat hi vekibes ha'osef et ever hapara et begadav v'tameh ad ha'aref v'haita livnei Israel v'lager hagar betocham lechukat olam hanogeh bemet lechol nefesh adam v'tameh shivat yamim hu itchatavo bayom hashlishi ubayom hashvi ithar vim lo itchata bayom hashlishi ubayom hashvi lo ithar kol hanogea bemet benefesh ha'adam asher yamut velo itchata et mishkan Adonai timeh v'nichrata hanefesh hahi Misrael ki meinida lo zarak alav tameh ihyeh od tumatovo zot haTorah adam ki yamut ba'ohel kol haba el ha'ohel v'kol asher ba'ohel itma shivat yamim v'chol keli patuach asher ein tzamid patil alav tamehu v'chol asher igar al pnei hasadeh v'chalal chereb ov amet ov etzem adam ov akaver itma shivat yamim ולקחו לטמא מעפר שרפת החטאת, ונתן עליו מים חיים על כלי. ולקח אזוב וטבל במים, איש טהור, והיזה על האוהל ועל כל הכלים ועל הנפשות אשר היו שם, ועל הנוגע בעצם או בחלל או במת או בקבר, והיזה הטהור על הטמא ביום השלישי וביום השביעי, וחיתו ביום השביעי, וכיבס בגדיו, ורחץ במים וטהר בערב. ואיש אשר יטמא ולא יתחטא, ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מתוך הקהל, כי את מקדש אדוני טימא מנידה, לא זרק עליו טמא הוא. והייתה להם לחוקת עולם, ומזה מהנידה יכבס בגדיו, והנוגע במי הנידה יטמא עד הערב, וכל אשר ייגע בו הטמא יטמא, והנפש הנוגעת תטמא עד הערב. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Unbelievable, Barb. Just awesome. So good. Yasher kochech. So good. It gets better every year. The reason why this one was the best one was we didn't even chat beforehand. Like that was great. Really amazing. And you see, it's quite a marathon reading. And kol hakavod, a great job. We are so thankful Barb Neiman was able to come in this morning and chant that mafter portion for us. The reason for the mystery, by the way, that confounded King Solomon, I was thinking that it may not be clear. It's the fact that the person who was impure is made pure, but the fact that everyone who participates in the ritual of burning the cow, collecting the ashes, sprinkling the water mixture, everyone who participates is rendered temporarily impure. Why? Why are they rendered temporarily impure while this person is purified? Do you think it should be purifying for everyone? And the best explanation I heard for a comparable sort of situation is that anyone who's ever cleaned a bathroom or a house, you start with a dirty room and a clean sponge, and you end up with a clean room and a dirty sponge. I just thought that was kind of clever. But that was what confounded Solomon, is why are the people participating in this purifying ritual, why are they rendered impure? And like I said, King Solomon, he never figured it out. But Barb did. And again, kol hakavod, that was a fantastic Torah reading. Barb will be chanting the Haftarah. We do not read the special Haftarah. We do not read the Haftarah for Ki Tisa. The Shabbat Parah takes precedence and it bumps the Ki Tisa. So when Clyde Hertig told us that this was his Bar Mitzvah Parsha, I don't know if it was on Shabbat Parah, if this was his Haftarah, but I know that it was Barb's Haftarah 50 years ago. It comes from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verses 16 through 32. You will see the connection between the special mafter and this haftarah. Sprinkling of water, holy water, purifying water. The connection is quite clear. Page 1287 in the Etz Chaim Chumash. Again, Ezekiel 36, 16 to 32. Just before Barb gets to the haftarah, we invite you once again, wherever you are, please rise and join Bill Wiseman for Hagbon Galila of the second scroll. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. Please be seated. I wasn't kidding about that announcement about the Pesach Seder dinner takeout, right? This is going to be our second Pesach where we're going to be maybe on Zoom and separate, but we have a great catering menu from our chef Joel LaFond and the team here at Sharon Zedek. Check out the website, szwinnipeg.ca, and please order by Thursday, March 18th for pickup on Friday, March 26th with the Seder, first Seder, Saturday, March 27th. What's that old joke, Bill? Pesach is early this year, and it's like, actually, Pesach is right on time. It's always the same time on the Hebrew calendar, right? Yeah. Well.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to eating matzah this year. Gluten-free, by the way.
Someone once pointed out to me that the Jewish holidays are either late or early, but they're never on time.
And yet on the Hebrew calendar, they're always exactly on time. This year, we get, it's early. It's early. That's why Parah, 3 weeks. And speaking of Parah, we've got Barb Neiman for the Haftarah for Parah. Barb.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'dibrahem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'Vinviei hamet b'tzedek.
Amen.
Vayehid v'Adonai Elai lemor ben Adam Beit Yisrael yoshvim al admatam vaytamu ota bedarkam uva'alilotam ketumat hanida hayta darkam lefanai vayashpoch amati alehem al ha'adam asher shafchu al ha'aretz uvegilu lehem tim'uha v'afitzotam bagoyim v'zaru ba'aratzot kedarkam v'chalilotam shvatetim vayavo el hagoyim asher ba'u sham v'yachalelu et shem kodshi ve'emor lahem am Adonai ele umeretzo yatza'u va'echmol al shem kodshi asher chilelu beit Yisrael v'goyim asher ba'u shama. Lachen emor lebeit Yisrael ko amar Adonai Elohim lo lemanchem ani yoseh beit Yisrael ki im l'shem kodshi asher chilatem bagoyim asher batem sham v'kidashti et shmi hagadol המחולל בגויים אשר חיללתם בתוכם וידעו הגויים כי אני אדוני נאום אדוני אלוהים והקדשי בכם לעיניהם ולקחתי אתכם מן הגויים וקיבצתי אתכם מכל הארצות והבאתי אתכם על אדמתכם, וזרקתי עליכם מים טהורים וטהרתם מכל טומאותיכם ומכל גילוליכם אטהר אתכם, ונתתי לכם לב חדש ורוח חדשה אתן בקרבכם. והסירותי את לב האבן מבשרכם, ונתתי לכם לב בשר. ואת רוחי אתן בקרבכם, ועשיתי את אשר בחוקי תלכו, ומשפטי תשמרו ועשיתם. וישבתם בארץ אשר נתתי לאבותיכם, והייתם לי לעם, ואנוכי אהיה לכם לאלוהים. והושעתי אתכם מכל תומותיכם, וקראתי על הדגן, והרביתי אותו, ולא אתן עליכם רעב. והרביתי את פרי העץ ותנובת השדה, למען אשר לא תיקחו עוד חרפת רעב בגויים. וזכרתם את דרכיכם הרעים, ומעלליכם אשר לא טובים, ונקוטותם בפניכם על עוונותיכם ועל טובותיכם. לא למענכם אני עושה נאום אדוני אלוהים יוודע לכם. בושו והיחלמו מדרכיכם בית ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שהכל ברא ואמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם, כי אל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך וברוך שמו.
האל הנאמן בכל דבריו.
אמן.
רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך וברוך שמו.
משמח ציון בבניה.
אמן.
שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך וברוך שמו.
מגן דוד.
אמן.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך וברוך שמו.
מקדש השבת.
Amen.
And my original Mofter book.
I wondered.
Yes.
Well,
This is my original Mofter book, which my mother covered in some fancy foil and fabric, apparently from a leftover dress.
Beautiful.
So,
well, I'm sure you made your bar mitzvah teacher, Rabbi Burkle, very proud. Certainly everyone watching. You got a lot of adoring fans on the chat. And congregants, family, you did an amazing job. We're so lucky to have you. Thank you for coming back and doing this.
thank you, my pleasure.
It was terrific. Barb Neiman, everybody.
Yasher koach.
Indeed. Wonderful. We're going to invite Rabbi Moss back to the bima in just a moment to help us return the Sifrei Torah to the Ark and then help conclude our service. We're looking forward to the Devar Torah. Just before we get to that, though, here's an opportunity for us to make one more Misha Berach, a very, very special Misha Berach for all those folks we know who are ill. This is the Misha Berach for healing, composed by Debbie Friedman, Zichrona Livracha. We do it every day, and especially on Shabbat. You have an opportunity. We have a list
that you can add names to during the week that we'll call out every day for 4 weeks. And then, of course, you can keep people on the list. We hope that people come off the list, of course, for good reasons. But you can also add people using the chat on Facebook or YouTube. I'll start by reading the names we have this week. Leticia Corrado, Leah Badadel, Colin Rich, Andrew Strand, Dr. Marcelo Neal, Shoshana Badchaya, Devora Malka Badgela, Rachel Bat Sonia, Alfie Glass, Liba Bat Gitel, Dina Chaya Bat Ida, Mina Bat Sarah, Henry Hager, Atarad Bat Etel, Shmueleh Ben Gitel, Dana Brindley, Janice Diner, Batsheva, Stephen Alexander Lee, Evelyn Bat Liba, Esther Bat Mina, Shoshana Bat Sarah, Adrian McDonald, Frida Bat Regina, Rishon Ben Sarah, Trina Razel Bat Pasha, Jane York, Ernie Hobbs, David Tzvi Ben Sarah Pessel, Dina Rachel Bat Sarah Esther, Yitzchak Chaim Ben Sarah, Tova Yael Bat Dina Rachel, Shira Naomi Bat Dina Rachel, Eliezer Meir Ben Tova Yael, Katriel Yosef Ben Tova Yael, Yisrael Chaim Ben Shira Naomi, Aviva Bat Malka, Yaakov Ben Sion Ben Miriam, Isabella Bat Sarah, Chaya Zahava Bat Leah, Bat Sheva Bat Sarah, Yitzchak Dov Ben Bela, Michelle Sipe, Chaya Bat Thida, Zahava Bat Yael, Parita Patel, Ida Rabinovich, Alexander Taft, Miriam Bat Freda, Eliyahu Shlomo Ben Chana, Bela Bat Sonia, Moshe Aharon Ben Leah, Miriam Rachel Bat Leah, Elokim Pesach Ben Esther Pessi, Liba Bat Fagel, Sharon Bat Goldie, Cindy Levinson, Elaine Miller. Leslie, can you help us with other names that have been added, please?
Of course. Devorah Leah Bat Masha, Carmel, Ellis Williamson, Herbert Singer, Carla Bat Nancy, Kim Bat Nancy, Andres Ben Gloria, Temi Bat Rochel, Isabella Bat Sarah, Sam's List, Toby Wilson, Justin Bartlett, AJ, Hillel David Chaim Ben Miriam, Bev and Bernie Binder, Ilana Rachel Bat Eleanor, Eliezer Ben Sarah, Rivka Bat Kochava, Natan Ben Miriam, Lily Zimet, Leah Bat Kate, Malka Avraham, Barb, Zayda Alec, and Moishe would be proud. Oh, that's a message to Barb. I'm so sorry that got in there. But Barb, that was a nice comment. Michael Braverman, Lucy Braverman, Bill Miller, Andrea Green, Josh Schron, Betsy Bat Helen Joyce, Maureen Rich, and Shandel Bat Miriam, Chazan Shefer Ben Miriam, Harav Avraham, Yehoshua Heschel Ben Root. Let's join together in a Misha Berach prayer for healing. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Me'imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Me'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Leslie. Beautiful. Thank you to everyone for adding names to our list. And may these people we've prayed for be returned to a better state of health, physical, spiritual, emotional. We invite everyone to rise as we turn to page 41, back in the Siddur, Yahalelu, returning the Sifrei Torah to the Ark.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו. תהילה, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Page 43. עץ חיימי למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכינו עם וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה. קדש ימינו, קדש ימינו, קדש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated. Are you starting with a joke? You know, the one thing that I was kind of hoping happened was maybe you stopped doing the joke.
That's a joke, right?
Take it away, Rabbi Mas.
Oh, yeah,
teach us. Teach us.
I'll try.
Teach us something.
What camera, Marvin? You see, I had to ask. That's a new thing I started to do while you were away.
Is asking which camera?
Which camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite, Marvin.
Yeah.
Working the board.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I heard about this man who bought a new fridge, a new refrigerator. And he wanted to get rid of the old one. It was a perfectly fine one, which was just older. And he didn't feel like listed it. So he put it in the front yard. And he wrote a sign. Free. One day goes by, nothing happens. 2 days, nothing happened. The fridge was still there. 3 days, nobody would stop to look at it twice. So the guy said, okay, maybe people don't trust that it's a good fridge or whatever. So he decided to change the strategy. So he wrote another sign. Says, for sale. That night, somebody stole the fridge. So I wanted to talk to you today about absolutely free stuff. Let's be honest, we like freebies. We like freebies. I don't know, it's, we like gifts. In fact, many businesses, they use freebies as a strategy, right, to attract clients. Don't believe me, go to Costco. I think that sometimes you will see these long lines outside Costco. Half of people are there just for the freebies. They go from aisle to aisle eating everything that they have to offer because it's free. People like things that they are free, even from the little ones. I remember before the pandemic, I used to go with my family to watch, I don't know, the gold dice game. And my son will be expecting these times during the innings that they will throw free stuff to people. I don't know, it's not that I cannot buy him an ice cream, but he wanted a free one that somebody would come and he will try to catch it and whatever. Because we like freebies, but we like freebies up to certain extent. I got so many things in my life that they were given to me for free. Do I know what they are? Probably not. Probably not. We don't really pay too much attention to those things. And I want to tell you this because in this week's Parashah something happens. And it's the fact that God gave us the most wonderful gift that was given to the people of Israel since the creation of the world. Remember, God created the world from nothing. And since that time, nothing was really created. Everything was recreated, but it was nothing new in this world. Until this week's Parsha, when actually God carved the Ten Commandments in a tablet. That was, in the saying of the Torah and the rabbis, the finger of God who did that carving. And God gave it to Moses. Moses came down. Moses saw the people of Israel sinning with the golden calf. And what did Moses do? Broke the tablets. And Rabbi Matthew talked about that. Kol hakavod, said God. Yashir koyach. Yashir koyach.
Not in the Torah, but later, yeah.
But then, Moses has to go a second time up to the mountain to receive the second set of the tablets. But this time, it was a different deal. It was not written by God. This time, Moses had to carve the stone himself. And then he brought it down, and that was eventually placed inside the Ark of the Covenant, together with the pieces of the other one. But then we have a dilemma here, because the rabbis asked the question, which one is holier? The first set of the tablets or the second one? The one that was given by God or the one that Moses wrote? Interesting question. And the rabbis say, maybe to your surprise, that the second set of tablets was holier than the first one. And why is that? Because the first time was a free gift. And maybe there is no coincidence that because it was given to Moses, Moses had no hesitation to break it when he saw that the people of Israel were sinning with the golden calf. But the second one, Moses was involved in the writing of that set. So in other words, was a partnership between God and Moses. And it's not that the people of Israel never sinned again, because we know that they did many other bad things, but Moses never broke the second set of the tablets. Why? Simply because part of him was on those tablets. And let's be honest, isn't that the same with each one of us? That sometimes we get things for free, yeah, we like it, but we don't look at them the second time. Sometimes we don't even know where they are. But if you work hard for something, and you were saving penny after penny, and eventually you got enough money to buy whatever it is that you were saving it for, and you got it, I can guarantee you that you know exactly where that thing is, if not that you are treasuring it as something very special because you worked for it. So this is a very interesting and very powerful teaching for all of us. Because sometimes I realize that for many people, it's difficult to remain committed to Judaism. And perhaps the reason why is that, because the Judaism that we receive was a gift from our parents and grandparents. And as any gift, as any freebie, it's very easy for us to not paying attention to it, not look at it the second time, and to neglect it. So perhaps this parasha is also teaching us that if we want to guarantee a next generation of Jewish people, we have to do like Moses did, and to partner with our parents, with our grandparents, and everything else that came from previous generation, to partner with that, to create something that is ours, that we are involved into it, we have something to say about it, and we work towards it. And when that happens, then I can guarantee you also that we will have a kind of Judaism that we will really care about because we feel that is ours. Because at the end of the day, doesn't really matter how holy something is. If you don't involve yourself with that, then it's not special enough for you to keep it alive. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach. Loved it.
Yeah.
I even liked the joke. Well, it was you tied it. It was great. It was fabulous. Maybe I just needed a little time away to appreciate you more.
Maybe.
We'll see how I feel next week. Next week, I'll be right back to booing, I guarantee you. Rabbi Mas is a fantastic teacher. If you want to learn more with him, he teaches a Torah L'Chaim study group every Thursday over the lunch hour, over the noon hour. All these times are Central Time, Winnipeg time. 12 o'clock, and for the next 4 weeks, starting this week, it's all themes related to Pesach.
I can tell you exactly what it is.
Don't. Make them show up.
No, but let me tell them. This Thursday is called Pesach. What, why, and how. The week after is called Manishtana Rock. And it's all about new compositions for the Seder.
All right.
And the one before the Seder,
that would be an old one.
yeah,
Right. Sorry.
that's okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And the one before the Seder will be also to study about Pesach, but it will be more about insights for the Seder, so people can share with family and
That's good.
show off a little bit, right? When this kind of comments, I said, oh, wow, where did you learn that? Somewhere, I don't know.
So more chances to learn every week, Torah L'Chaim, Thursdays at noon with Rabbi Mas. Page 44 in the Siddur. Let's wrap this up. Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח
rise.
לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please remain standing for the mourner's Kaddish, which is on page 46. This week we mourn the passing of Helen Roseman. and offer our heartfelt sympathy to Ken and Lynn Roseman, Susan and Joel Grosh, Faye Swartz, and Paula and Harold Diamond. We also mourn the passing of Debbie Stern and offer our sincere condolences to Richard Chernick, Zach and Patra Chernick, Thea Chernick, Samara Chernick, Anita Cohen, Jeffrey and Cheryl Stern, and Marshall and Marielle Stern. We extend our condolences to the family of Dave Kaplan, still in Shloshim, the first month of losing their loved one. And this week we commemorate the yortzites of Morris Barenhout, father of Abe Barenhout, Goldie Ashkin, grandmother of Naomi Nurgitz, Max and Dorothy Feldman, parents of Alan Feldman, Leon Bell, father of Hannon Bell, Rivka Selchin, remembered by Sharon Nazin and Frumi Selchin, Sylvia Nazin, mother of Murray Nazin, Ruth Shell, mother of Al Shell and Marley Lerner, Abraham Bay, father of Minnie Bell, Roy Saltzman, father of Jackie Stillwater, Earl Pitch, husband of Sylvia Pitch, Alana Michelle Moskovich, daughter of Jerry and Gloria Moskovich, Manuel Thompson, father of Ellen Thompson, Clara Wolk, mother of Rochelle Rosenheck, Rose Meister, mother of Art Meister, Lily Coven, mother of Rhoda Feldman, grandmother of Lisa Hager, and great-grandmother of Leslie Emery, Sally Saranelko, mother of Lynn Trachtenberg and Wendy Wilder, Sarah Bernstein, grandmother of Gail Asper, Harvey Hertig, father of Clyde Hertig, Eva Adler, mother-in-law of Hai Kreitberg, and from one more candle, Shaul Albasan, all of blessed memory. Mourner's Kaddish, page 46. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei dekudsha b'richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
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 You may be seated. Thanks again to the wonderful team here, Rabbi Anibal Mas, Bill Wiseman, Leslie Emery, Marvin Polanski. Special thank you to Barb Neiman, who joined us for the special mafter of Parah and the Haftarah. What a great morning. There's a lot. I mean, it's later than usual. The people are with us. They can probably handle an Adon Olam. But
Sure.
we should, right? But it was 3 birthdays, lots of Zoom aliyot, the Parah stuff. It was good. And your teaching was great.
And even a good joke, you said.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a good one. So, Rabbi, what are we doing for Adon Olam? Page 47.
Let's do Zim.
Okay.
I played it for Leslie last time, so I want you to play it for me now.
Okay.
Zol Zain Zim.
I like it because it calls for people's participation,
Yeah,
so
it
it's in
does.
tune with the message of the sermon.
Right, for sure. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Shabbat. Service this evening with Bill is at 6 o'clock.
No, it's with Leslie.
Leslie, we
All
read
right,
the
we're
Torah
back.
again.
Oh, yes,
Mincha.
right. We're back with Torah. Yep.
Mincha.
Well, Leslie Emery is back tonight at 6 for Mincha Shabbat with a Torah reading. And tomorrow is Bill Wiseman, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Just also
And
through-
check your inboxes for Rina's Havdalah. Whenever is the
That's
time,
right.
we are going to send it to everybody.
Gotcha. Bill, yes.
Just one more thing. Not tonight, but next Saturday night. and
Next
Sunday
Saturday night's
morning,
the time change,
We
yeah.
spring forward to Central
Yeah.
Daylight Time.
Page 47.
אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי
ואחרי
ככלות הכל
ככלות הכל
לבדו
לבדו
ימלוך נורא
ימלוך נורא
והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסדו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז לעם ישראל אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסדו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנגוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסדו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו הפקיד רוחי ותשע והעירה ועם רוחי גבייתי אדוני לי ולא ידע אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסדו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom everyone.